Hello guys, this is Sonny from Think to Win, and this time I am here with a new mat again because yeah, I am kind of running out of mats, but this time if you could guess from the sleeves, I am sharing with you my current Spike Brothers deck profile. First of all, my card trainer, Conroe clone, Counter Blast 1, put this into the drop zone and you can get any grade 1 from your deck. It's good to get Wonder Boy, or if you are really behind, you can get a perfect guard, but really I usually just grab Wonder Boy to hit 21k with my Vanguard. Then I'm running 4 draw triggers, standard, because you really need to keep up with the hand sometimes, because in Spike Brothers, basically because you call everything to the rear guard, your hand is kind of lacking, but you want to finish the game early, otherwise if it becomes a war of attrition, Spike Brothers will just die in general. And then we have 4 heal triggers here. Basically it's a heal trigger, it doesn't do anything special like some heal triggers do, it's just 5k attacker if you call it to the rear guard if you're really desperate. Then I am running 8 criticals. This one actually does something. You soul charge it and then you can unflip 1 counter blast. Usually I never use it because basically I just break ride and then activate Dudley Emperor's ability only once in the whole game, and either it's a GG or otherwise you're dead, because after that you can't really commit to the field anymore. Then Reckless Express 4, it's really good. 12k attacker after you soul blast, it goes away, so even if sometimes when you will miss your break ride, it goes away, you can still use your Dudley Emperor's counter blast ability, which is a limit break, but more about him later. But really he is a really good rear guard, especially when you're lacking attackers. Then I'm running 2 medical managers. Medical manager, he just soul charges, so it helps you with the soul charges. He was much more important previously when we could only run Dudley Emperor, but now he is not that important because you don't use the limit break as much, or because basically you wait for break ride and then you push for game, because you can have 5 attacks, which all have more than 20k attack power, so basically you push for game at that point. Then for Wonder Boy, 8k attacker, booster and attacker when you put it on the front row. It's really good for boosting, especially your Vanguard, like the Break Ride or Dudley Emperor himself, because they can hit 21k, the new magic number of this format, which only really Vanguards can reach right now. So it's really good because it's a 15k block for 1 to pass all the time. It's really a pressure for the opponent, and you can get him easily with Mecha Trainer, so that's the best about him. Then I'm running 3 perfect guards. Previously, as I tried it on Cardfight area as well, 4 is too much, especially because you don't use it that much. Sometimes I even called this to the field because I was lacking attackers that much, and I had to use it as attackers, or even in the front row when I break road, it gets 10k, 16k, goes away, and I get 2 Juggernaut Maximum, then game or die. That's basically the Spike Brothers way to live. Then for Bracky, Soul Blast 1 becomes 14k attacker, but that goes into the deck. It's a good card. That's really all I can say about it. It's good because it goes away, so even when you can't break ride, when you can't break ride, it still goes away, so you can use Dudley Emperor's ability. Then I'm running 4 Mason. It's a really good pressure unit, because if it hits, you can counter blast 1 and call any Spike Brothers into the rear guard, just like let's say Juggernaut Maximum. It's really good because you can get attacks early, especially if you ride it and you have the 8k booster behind it. It will probably hit, and you can increase the number of attacks you have, although you do have to soul charge 1 card when you activate his ability. But yeah, it's basically swarm the field and kill everybody before they can counter attack. That's how you do in Spike Brothers. Then 2 Treasured Black Panther. I pretty much think that I don't have more of it, and I wanted to try running Zachary, because he, just like Brecky and Reckless Express, he doesn't get the extra power, but when he hits the Vanguard, you can Soul Blast one and draw a card. After that he goes back to the Soul. The only reason I'm running him as well, I mean not to the Soul, to the deck, is because he goes back to the deck. So you can use Dudley Emperor with him if he hits, but if the opponent is at 4 damage, sometimes they will let it hit. And you can get a free card which you can use for soul charging with Dudley Emperor. Then here I'm running 2 Juggernaut Maximums. I do believe that he is really important, because alone when you Soul Blast for him, he's a 16k attacker, and when you Break Ride he becomes a 26k attacker, which if your opponent has an 11k Vanguard, him alone he has to drop 20k shield for it, and that's not counting the boosters that you might have. So yeah, he's really good pressure, and I think he is a staple. Then I have 3 Break Rides. Basically, when you have 4 damage, you ride another Great 3 on top of it. Usually you want to ride Dudley Emperor, because riding him or Break Ride over Break Ride in this deck, it doesn't really work. It doesn't work because this doesn't have an ability and your units don't come out onto the field on their own. But when you Break Ride on top of him, all of your front rows get 10k when they attack, which puts even a Brecky up to 24k when you Soul Blast for him, so it's really good for pressure. But unless you have Dudley Emperor, your combo will most likely die, because he forces the cards that got the 10k to move back into the deck, meaning that your intercepts and your attackers will be gone after you use him. Then we have 3 Dudley Emperors. I am going with the 8 grade 3 format, although sometimes I have to rely on Sack. I still want to keep the Juggernauts, because he's just that good for pressure, in my opinion, in this deck, and I don't want to damage check him. So yeah, basically Limit Break 4, Counter Blast 2, Soul Charge 2 from your hand, which is really, it just kills your hand. After that you can't guard the next turn after you use him, but that's why I recommend using him as a last resort, and usually you prefer to Break Ride. Otherwise it's really hard to win right now, but still it's possible if you have good luck and you grab good cards. But yeah, Dudley Emperor, he is a 13k attacker when he is boosted by a Spike Brothers rear guard, meaning that he's a 21k attacker on his own, and with Mecha Trainer you can get an 8k to boost him. Wonder Boy. So yeah, and then after you activate his Limit Break, you get 2 cards out on the field from your deck. Basically you get the 2 Juggernaut Maximums, and they will be 26k attackers if you Break Road, and even they will still be 16k attackers if you didn't Break Ride, meaning that they still need to block with 10ks, and sometimes your opponent, when he's at 4 or 5 damage, may not have the guard, so even alone he can push for game. And yeah, the only problem about him is that he's 10k, meaning that even grade 1 10k attackers can abuse him. Anyway guys, thank you guys for watching the video, and see you guys in the next video.